Hi there, English 112ers, and welcome to week 7. First and foremost, I just wanted to apologize for any confusion that people had last week with the expectations of the community research. I thought that my directions were clear. I realized that they were not, and I hope that we can all give each other some grace because I know that it's been, a challenge for all of us around this time of year, and I appreciate everybody's flexibility. I will make sure that I upload the right video this time. So this one is for English 112. And so thank you to those of you who caught my errors last week. I don't know what I'd do without you with these online formats. All right. So, kind of getting into it, I am going to go over a couple of things today to help you as you are developing your understanding of some of the literature. So we're going to be pushing ahead a little bit with some literature this week and still giving you some room to breathe on your final draft proposal of your community essay. So on the Moodle, what I want to make sure is clear, and I'm going to open this up in another slide deck. Okay, here we go. Okay, so for this week, you're going to be prioritizing your community research proposal. And I gave you some feedback last week on the development. Some of you had good thoughts, some of you did not fully articulate your thoughts out. And so you need to have like a little bit more. So I'll be on the discussion boards for your peer review to give you some more suggestions. As we move through this week, what I want you to be aware of is that um, we are going to be going into some more literature this week. So we're going to have a smattering of short stories. So you're going to have Indian Education by Sherman Alexie, Kincaid's Girl, Ellison's The Prologue to the Invisible Man, and then Sandra Cisneros' Woman Hollering Creek. So these are all really interesting, diverse voices with different perspectives of the experience to be marginalized or othered. So this will be a really interesting week for your short story discussion, and I'm going to go over some things here momentarily. But what I want you to notice is that I do have some lecture notes here, a visual that I'll show you in the slide deck. And then down here, I've got some additional resources for the community research paper and then some source information. Also, MLA or APA formatting, I'm fine if you choose either as long as it is consistent. And so I identified here that you not only have your research proposal, but we're going to continue on with our short story discussion. So there is a collaborative annotation that exists on Harmonize. And so you will be annotating a short story called Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. And then Smattering of Short Stories is a discussion forum about the stories that you read this week. So reach out to me if you have any other questions about anything. And I look forward to seeing more of your community research now that you got an extra week to breathe. All right. So I'm going to open up the slide deck. So this slide deck you have access to. All right. So these are our pieces. All right. So there are some resources that I have attached here. I'm not entirely sure if they'll play through my headphones, but as you are reading through Jamaica Kincaid is an Antiguan author. She wrote Girl, and Girl is a very strange piece because, as you can see, it is one big block of text. So when you're thinking about Girl or any short story, you have to think about them and how they exist within the context that surrounds them. So this one, wash the white clothes on Monday and put them in the stone heap. Wash the color clothes on Tuesday and put them on the clothesline to dry. Don't walk barehead in the hot sun. Cook pumpkin fritters in a very hot, sweet oil. Soak your little cloths right after you take them off. And when buying cotton to make yourself a nice blouse, be sure that it doesn't have gum in it because that way it won't hold up well after a wash. Soak saltfish overnight before you cook it. Is it true that you sing Bennett in Sunday school? So I'm going to pause there. And there are lots of wonderful audiobooks of this being read out. And I do think that you should take a moment to do that. I just know that these videos can be very long. And so I don't want to take more of your time. But what I do want you to notice as you read this is that it's instructional. Okay, so this piece was written by an Antiguan author, a woman from the Caribbean, and it is a woman talking to her daughter. And in this conversation, it's a list. It's a do this, do that, do this, do that. But what I want you to really be thinking about are some of the tensions that are existing within this text. How these conversations between the mother and the daughter and the gender expectations and then also religion come into play. So we've got lots of tensions with girl, and in girl we have contrast, we've got shadowing, and then we have this really interesting final line. And when you encounter it, you'll see what I mean. And so that is the conversation of like a colonized woman. Now, if we get into more complex pieces, we also have Invisible Man. Invisible Man is a piece by Ralph Ellison, and it's about the this a man who is hidden from the world because of his race. So there's a link to the song here on the slide deck, but he sings this song and he mentions it. Cold, empty bed, spring's hard as lead, pains in my head, feel like old Ned. What did I do to be so black and blue? So as you were reading Kincaid and then Ralph Ellison, I want you to think about like the function of music in both of them and how this music it kind of gives it a different, more full nature because of the fact that it's using music to highlight things that are going on in the story. There are also some questions here to help guide your understanding of the pieces as you read them. And so, really be thinking about the music and how it creates a cognitive dissonance with the reader. Okay, and the other piece that I wanted to kind of just like give you a little snapshot of is Indian Education, which is very similar to a piece Superman and Me, if you remember that, written by Sherman Alexie. Um, but he talks about assimilation here. And so, as opposed to Ellison, who is an African American, and then Jamaica Kincaid, who was a colonized Antiguan, this is a Native American who is working on assimilating or feeling like he must assimilate to white culture. This is a photo that is inspired by the book Invisible Man. And this is the light bulb scene. So you can see all the light bulbs that are going off. And so as you encounter that, you're going to see these like interesting metaphor of the light bulbs and their relationship. And the last piece that you're reading this week is Woman Hollering Creek by Sandra Cisneros. That is a Latin American woman. And so when they mention in this piece the La Llorona, you're going to see that this is the Weeping Woman, which is a Mexican folk tale of a vengeful ghost that would talk about her being pre-Hispanic and being from the highlands, but like basically like an indigenous woman who calls for her children. So whenever they call the La Lona, that is what they're talking about. I also put a couple of things in here as examples of telenovelas. So as you are thinking through Woman Hollering Creek in conjunction, think about the story and how it goes from weeping to hollering and the progression of that feminine voice there. And how do the dominant figures occupy each space? So I hope that you enjoy the readings this week. They are very thoughtful, and I do look forward to seeing some of your ideas on the discussion board story of an hour is just an annotation, but I want to see your thoughts as you're understanding these short stories in more detail. And of course, reach out to me with any questions. I hope you all have a wonderful week.